In the Lab, a Texans podcast that takes a different look at things. Drew Dougherty and John Harris have their lab coats and goggles on, and the Bunsen burners burning. Here's Drew.
Hey there, it's Drew Dougherty, and that's John Harris. This is In the Lab. We're happy that you're with us. We're having a fun time on a rainy Wednesday. We were going to do this on Tuesday like normally, but you had stuff, I had stuff. I was at the Kroger Buffalo Speedway with the great Matt Murphy, played for the Texans. We had a fun time doing it's basically something for Kroger and the Houston Food Bank and, helping fight hunger, insecurity. You had a ton of stuff yesterday, so it's good to get together with you. And today, John, we're talking about quarterbacks that the Texans will face on the 2021 calendar. One thing that stood out to me last week not last week, but when, the draft finished and then you sync that up with when you thought about who the Texans were going to play in between the draft and the schedule release, you saw, hey, they're going to face four teams that drafted a QB in the first round. You got the Patriots. You start off with the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. You also have, who am I missing? The Jets, as well as
potentially the 49ers. Potentially.
Yeah. So, and I'm not saying they're playing, but they did draft a quarterback in the first round. Yep. But yeah, you get the 49ers on January 2nd out there. So you might see four. You and I talked about this. I think we set the over under at 2.5 of the ones you're going to see, and we both kind of think it's going to be the over. But that's one of the most interesting things because I believe in years past the Texans have faced more than that, and I think they kind of feasted on that and took it to their full advantage as they should. But this year, it's going to be a fascinating one. What do you think about the quarterbacks just as far as that goes? The four teams who you're going to ultimately play 5 games against because the Jaguars you face twice. You're going to get Trevor Lawrence twice as long as he's healthy.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, the other aspect of it is the fact that Trevor Lawrence has not played in an NFL game, I think can work to your advantage. But you have an opportunity, like you said, to face those rookies in 5 games and look for we've seen very good rookies. I go back to Baker Mayfield 2018.
Yeah.
First half, we picked him off 3 times. Second half, I mean, kind of backing off, trying to get the game to a finish. He kind of lit us up and really.
Yeah, you saw why he was a first overall pick. Yeah.
Yeah. So you saw kind of a little bit of everything from Baker Mayfield in that respect. We saw Josh Allen of the Bills in 2018, and it was pretty much a mess all day long. And then I think it was JJ knocked him out. It was JJ Clowney knocked him out, hit him on the elbow. He goes out. Peterman comes in and let him to touchdown. But Allen had a rough start. So we've seen some really good rookies. And look, last year, and we've talked about this numerous times. I'm not breaking news here. This was not the 2016 Texans defense or even the 2018 Texans defense, at least through the first 14, 15 games.
Right.
2020's defense struggled. However, how many rookies did we face last year? And this is the trivia question for all in the labbers out there. How many rookies did we face last year, and who was it? Oh, I just gave it away. who was it, or who were they? It was one.
Right.
You got to figure that out. But do you remember who he was? He was not a first rounder. He was a 6th rounder down in Jacksonville.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Jake Luton.
Luton, yeah.
Yeah, Jake Luton was the guy the Texans faced. Is the only rookie that the Texans faced in 2020. Now there's a possibility, and that was one game. Now there's a possibility of facing 4 rookies in 5 games. You pretty much know you're going to face Lawrence and Zach Wilson. So that's 3 games against a rookie. So you're already +2 over rookies, facing rookie quarterbacks. There's a possibility of facing Mac Jones in week 5, and then there's a possibility of Trey Lance in week 17, I think it is. I got to recalibrate all my weeks because I'm used to saying, last week of the year is week 17, but it's week 18.
I think you will see Lance. The wild card for me is Mac Jones. I just have no idea what Belichick is going to do. I have no idea because he's got, you just saw he's he re-signed Hoyer, who that guy's always going to rattle around and be
always
in the mix. Because what happens injury wise,
Right. Exactly.
Are they in a position where they want to win, or let's see what this guy's got, or we think this guy can actually help us win in Mac Jones better than Hoyer can. So
it'll be interesting to see how they create sort of phases of the season. I thought about this on my walk today, and I was thinking about phases of the season and kind of breaking it up. And I know that some teams kind of look at it differently. They look at
time out. I know that Cam Newton is the starter. I didn't want people to think that. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And
I was just throwing in because Newton gets hurt. Sometimes is it going to be Hoyer to come in? Is it going to be Mac Jones? Or are they just scrapping all that and going Mac Jones? Anyways, sorry.
Yeah. And to that point, if in week 5, I think it matters when we face the Patriots in week 5. I think unless something does happen to Cam, I think we will see Cam at least early on. If we had faced the Patriots in week 14 or 15, I do think there's a better chance we would have seen Mac, because although the Patriots, I think, are going to be better, I don't know how far Cam can take them given the pounding and the health issues he's had every single year. All of a sudden he's aged another year and he's going to be able to play 17 games clean. I don't know that I see that, but facing the rookies is going to be, I think we do see Cam in week 5. So I do think we'll see 4 rookies. I think you're right. I do think we see Trey Lance, whether it's because Jimmy Garoppolo's hurt, or the 49ers have things kind of clinched up and they want to see what they have in Trey Lance, kind of like the Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes back in 2017, when Alex Smith had gotten them to an AFC West title. The last game didn't matter. So they let Patrick Mahomes play against the Broncos and he lit it up, and everybody's like, when Alex Smith is done, this guy's going to be pretty good. And he's turned out to be pretty good. To me, the one thing that struck me, Drew, was the fact that the Texans in 2020 faced 4 league MVPs.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, and Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Which canvassed pretty much the last probably 5-6 years. Dating back to 2014, it might get all of them except for Matt Ryan in 2016. But I think Mahomes, Lamar, Rodgers, and Newton were the other ones that from 2014 on, and Rodgers being the bookend. And you faced Rodgers in the year that he won the MVP in 2020. The league MVP quarterbacks they're scheduled to face in 2021, and this goes to our discussion, could be 0. But at this point, it's 1 because it's Cam Newton. That's it. So that's a pretty massive deal to me about the fact that you're facing guys, these big guns. And it also goes to this one too. I remember last year, Drew, when the schedule came out and we looked at it and went, holy bleep. The first 4 games were a Thursday night against Patrick Mahomes, back home against Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson.
The reigning
back
MVP.
On the road, the reigning MVP, the 2018 MVP and Super Bowl MVP in week 1. In week 3, it was going to Pittsburgh to take on Big Ben, a guy who's been a perennial, Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ, and coming back off an injury, feeling as good as he's ever felt. And week 4 was a guy that's made the Pro Bowl a couple times in Kirk Cousins with the Minnesota Vikings. That's the way you start that off. This year, all things expected to go the way they are, you'll face Trevor Lawrence, who's never played an NFL game, albeit very talented. I get that. And I was one of those that did not want Trevor to go to Jacksonville. I was cheering like heck for the Jaguars and for the Jets to lose games so the Jets could get him. But either way, Trevor Lawrence in week 1, at Cleveland and Baker Mayfield in week 2, Thursday night against Sam Darnold, who's already been traded to the Panthers and don't know whether he's going to stick. And then you got Josh Allen in week 4, who's turned into a legit quarterback. But that in comparison to what you faced last year coming out of the gate. And I think for as crazy as last year was, to start off those 4 games the way that we did, I think it just set a tone, unfortunately, for the rest of the season. And you start off the season 0-4, like, golly, that's a man, you got to trudge back. You got to really it's tough to get back from 0-4 start, and facing those 4 quarterbacks was going to be, was going to be extremely difficult. Now, I'm not saying that Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and Trevor Lawrence are any easy pickings at all.
But it's no. There's
in comparison, there isn't one, and I think that's getting out of the gate. Look, the Jags won the first game last year and then lost 15 straight. So just the first 4 games don't tell you everything. But even after that, after we faced those 4 guys, Aaron Rodgers was looming. We faced Cam Newton, a league MVP. Ryan Tannehill, very, very good quarterback, was on the schedule. So you still were going to face some pretty tough nuts along the way, even after those 4. I mean, Philip Rivers you faced twice, Tannehill you faced twice. You face Stafford up in Detroit, and you'll face him again just as a member of the Rams. So the quarterback group that they face is still pretty good, but it's one with more potential than
it's more beatable. Yeah, I mean, it's more beatable. There's no mincing of the words. Like, now you gotta beat them, and it's going to be tough because we don't know much about what Lovie Smith is going to trot out there on defense. It's going to look differently than what we've seen the last decade, because, hey, really, this has been a 3-4 since 2011.
Right,
Wade and then Romeo, different 3-4s, but still, 3-4s as opposed. You got to go back to 2010, the last time you saw a 4-3, and that was, you don't want to see what we saw in 2010.
Oh God, no.
Performance-wise, because that's what made things change and brought our good pal Wade Phillips into town, and that was a good thing.
Yes, it did.
Speaking of Wade Phillips, just kind of as an aside, he was here in the building about a month ago, and it was fun to see him. We're working on some projects, and we interviewed him. We interviewed Gary Kubiak about a week before Wade. So we've got some stuff cooking as it pertains to 11 and 12, and I can't wait to get that going. I'm fascinated to see what becomes of it.
That'd be awesome.
But it was fun. I met him as he came in the building and chit-chatted with him for a while, and the guy can still coach. Somebody needs to snap him up if they want to get better, because that guy knows. The guy's forgotten more defense and NFL football than a lot of people could ever hope to learn.
Well, I think one of the aspects of it, and I've come to this conclusion. It's funny because I used to joke many years ago about, the Patriots. Oh, they don't give their guys titles or whatever the case might be. And now I kind of understand why, because I look at a guy like Wade Phillips, and okay, well, is he a coach? Is he this? It's like, it doesn't matter if the guy knows what the heck he's talking about and he can help in any way, shape, or form. Who cares what the daggum title is? If he can come on and he can help in some way, and not just talking here. I mean, maybe there's a university that could use him. I think about University of Houston. I think Danny Holgerson could bring that mind power in and utilize him in some way, shape, or form on the defensive side of the ball, even if it's just to give the current defensive coordinator a different look or a different thought. Like, hey, we used to see this, and so this is what we did. You never know when that nugget is going to come. And I just think Wade's too valuable and too intuitive and seen it all to not have an opportunity to help a team, high school, college, pro. I mean, maybe you can help a high school team. That would be kind of interesting. That would be really fun. Wade Phillips coaching a high school team. Oh, that would be very, very cool. But yeah, I've never had a chance to meet him. And I had one of the best moments, I think, of my life when I was just cruising Twitter and I got a notification like, okay, what's this? Wade Phillips, son of bum, is now following you. I was like, oh my God. I mean, I felt like I won the lottery. So it's just, Nick has talked about this. A lot of people have talked about this. Man, information is key. And it doesn't matter who you get it from. If that information is useful and is trustworthy, man, it can come from anywhere.
You get him in your building. That's like plopping a football library in your building.
Yeah, absolutely.
Human being. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be fascinating to see. Well, listen, we're going to cut this one short today, but we'll do this again next week. We appreciate you listening and watching. John, glad you're doing great. You're back in Houston. You're not in Galveston anymore. So I hope you had a great trip and a great vacation. And
that was fun, man.
Yeah, we'll do this again very, very soon. Thanks so much for checking us out. This has been In the Lab. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.